Alright, today we are going to be jumping back into the Bitcoin price action, but instead of starting off with Bitcoin like I normally do, we need to talk about the S&P because it is breaking down and looking really sketchy right now. After making that good high, I did not want to see this thing roll over. So even though our charts in crypto, mainly the altcoin market, does look like it's ready for liftoff and prepared to launch into outer space, if the S&P rolls over here, we could see that rocket blow up on the launch pad, and we do need to be watching very closely. Now the good news is we do have some pretty clear invalidations to eject from this rocket ship if things do go bad, and this easily could just be a shakeout before that final move to the upside. So we're going to be a little bit more bearish in this video, but also talk about how Bitcoin is still holding a bullish structure, and my base case remains the same, that we are going to all-time highs and we're going to see an altcoin season. I just want to give you guys some stuff to watch out for, so we're not just becoming moon boys and we are thinking critically about the markets. Alright, but let's talk about these charts here. So as you can see on the S&P, we have this ascending rising wedge. This is a bearish pattern that we did deviate out of to the upside, make that good high, and then deviate back within, and now break down pretty convincingly, and we are currently losing the low that I did not want to lose right now. So let's go ahead and jump into this on an hourly time frame. We are making lower lows in here, but our RSI is holding on by a thread, trying to make an exaggerated bull div. You can see here lows on RSI are at the same level, whereas price is lower lows, so that is exaggerated bullish divergence. And if we can close above this sweep level, all is good. So as far as the S&P goes, this is what we want to be watching out for. We want to make a sweep structure here with some bullish divergences. There is the possibility of large red candles like we've seen in the past after the market makes a macro top. That could be similar to what we saw back in 2022 when the market topped. You can see it's a very similar range in here, right? Going pretty flat, deviate out of the range, making that good high, and when you lose structure, you dump about 5% in a 4-hour candle, and then you have a small retrace back up before the real cascading liquidations take place. You can see right now, very similar structure. Range in here, deviate to the upside. We have already come down, retraced up, and now could we potentially have more of those cascading liquidations, or that first 5% dump, because these dumps weren't nearly as large as in 2021. Top of the wick here to the lows is only 1.75%. So could we be about to form that candle that dumps us down 5% in 4 hours? It is certainly possible, but I would not panic just yet. We do have more support below this level. We're going to ignore the pattern real quick because I don't care about patterns, right? That's something retail is going to be using, so I really could not care less if we have broken down from a bearish pattern. What I want to be looking at is volume levels. So if we go ahead, I'm going to take a fixed range volume profile of the top end range we had previously. As we can see here, we got value area high, point of control, and value area low. These are all big support levels that could all classify as bullish backtest of our previous all-time high range. And as you can probably notice, these levels tell us not to worry. We are still just bullishly backtesting all-time highs right now. The value area high of our last range has not been fully tested. Price is just coming down to make sure there is support there before continuing on upwards, and it is not until we lose this range and backtest it as resistance is when you really have to worry. You could even potentially start taking some off the table or worrying if we bearishly backtest the value area high, but the fact we are sitting above the value area high tells us this is to be expected. It is always good to come back down, backtest a previous all-time highs range value area high. That makes a lot of sense. You can tell these volume levels have been respected very nicely in here, and I'm certainly not worried that we have come down to test these levels in here. We could even trade sideways in here for a little bit before finally breaking out to the upside, but these are your levels to watch, right? We want to make sure we're holding this value area high on a daily time frame, and as long as we can do that, we really have nothing to worry about when it comes to the S&P. But yeah, let's just make sure we are watching this closely. And to go along with this dump, we do see the dollar, the DXY, is flying to the upside right now after backtesting the support level. This is something I was kind of worried about happening, and the dollar does look really bullish right now. But any Forex pair is heavily manipulated, so it's certainly not impossible for the dollar to just roll back over, get under, and head on down, or even dollar milkshake theory does take place and the markets run with the dollar. But this is something else to be watching out for. Currently, the dollar is continuing to look structurally very bullish. But you know what else is structurally looking really bullish? Bitcoin. So jumping over to Bitcoin now, you can see we did the sweep one more time. And while normally I will say you can't just keep sweeping a sweep, eventually you're going to build too much liquidity to the downside and you're going to target lower levels. And that's why I've put in the sweep level here. I think a big next target for Bitcoin right now is that 65,800 level. We could easily go down and sweep that. That would also be right at your daily EMA. So it could make a lot of sense just on a liquidity basis to come down, sweep all of this stuff while still maintaining higher lows on more of a macro in here. So I would not be too worried at all if Bitcoin does go ahead and test some of these levels and the S&P continues to hold here. As long as the S&P continues to hold, that is fine by me. We just don't want to be getting under this daily EMA, filling this vector right here. I mean, we do have big support below us, right, within these vectors. We do have, weekly point of control, previous highs of the low end range at that level as well. So we do have, some pretty big support below here. But as soon as we get down to, these lower levels, now we're going to have just a ton of resistance to the upside, and we're going to be losing that bullish structure, making lower lows on that macro time frame. So yeah, certainly would be nice if we can hold here. That's the best case scenario, but don't be too worried if we do just come down to this level. That's just a back test of the daily EMA, and it's not something to immediately panic about. But why does this structure right now look so bullish? Well, first things first, we were talking about how there wasn't a true 1 hour bull div. When we came down to this first level yesterday, we only had one on the waves from Market Cipher, whereas right now we actually do have a true 1 hour bullish divergence coming in here on our RSI, and we have a nice trend of a 1 hour bullish divergence that we have tapped twice. So you can see we have 1 hour bullish div there, along with a wider time frame 1 hour bullish divergence coming in here. So that is really good to see there. And jumping over to our order flow, this failed auction is much better than the ones we had previously. You can see 135 to 5, 43 to 0. Seller imbalances getting absorbed at the bottom of that wick. And we do see tons of shorts being opened into this low, giving us a ton of fuel to the upside if we are to trap those shorts. But that is the key, right? Just because people are shorting does not automatically mean price is going to sweep them to the upside. What we need to see is higher highs and higher lows on a shorter term time frame in here, trapping these shorts. If we can start closing price above all of this right in here, and open interest does not go down, well, we have gone ahead and trapped all of those shorts at the lows, and we will have a ton of juice to squeeze to the upside. But if we do in fact continue down lower, like I was talking about earlier, we do have a lot of support below us. As you can see here, tons of buy walls looking to scoop up Bitcoin if it is to go down to that daily EMA. These are the walls that I'm mainly looking at here. You can see this 500 Bitcoin wall is right on that 65.8 sweep level that we were talking about, and then we have tons of buy walls in the liquidity zone. If we do in fact go ahead and sweep that level, we do have smart buyers looking to scoop up Bitcoin at that daily EMA. Now jumping into my levels chart real quickly, you can see that Bitcoin is finding resistance on the weekly value area low right now. So we do want to see this get reclaimed if we are going to have a chance of Bitcoin going upwards. And you can see currently in like the last 2 seconds while I was saying that we are looking to go up and close this 1 hour candle. I mean, we still have 40 minutes left on this hourly. So yeah, if we could just start closing up above here, that is going to look a lot better for us on the charts. And that's something we're starting to see right now as I'm talking. So that's good to see there. Probably also noticing there's not as many levels down to that downside, so we are really just relying on more imbalances in the daily EMA at this 58k level, which is why it is much more bullish if we are to just hold where price is right now instead of coming down to sweep this lower level. Now let's talk about Ethereum real quick. I mentioned this in a previous video that we did get above the value area low of our 2021 bull market top end range, and I said there was a good chance we go ahead and bullishly backtest that. And what are we seeing currently on the price? Well, we are coming down to this level to bullishly backtest the value area low of the range. So it would be really nice to see this hold. That's really going to show our strength of the altcoin market. You'll also notice that many of your altcoins and Ethereum are actually holding up better than Bitcoin right now. That is another indication that shows us the altcoin market truly is on that launch pad, ready to blast off. We are just still struggling with that golden pocket, looking at total 3 right now, finding some resistance at this level once again. But like I've said previously, assuming this is the break, you are going to see the altcoin market teleport to the upside. So let's all hope we can see that play out. What we just want to be watching out for is that we don't come down here and start closing candles below this daily EMA and backtesting it as resistance. That could be a warning sign that maybe World War III is going to start and we do in fact break down. But so far locally here, we are still making higher lows, so that's good to see. And then lastly, real quickly here, I got to cover some meme coins that could be giving us warning signs that a top coming in right now is not impossible, because we did have that retail euphoria we had talked about previously on the channel, and we are finding some resistance on these meme coins with big daily bearish divergences. You can see here Pepe making macro higher highs and lower highs on our RSI here after going up around 2,000% from the lows. So yeah, a little sketchy in there, but if this truly is going to be the dot-com bubble for crypto, or even just anything like 2021, these meme coins are going to go to much higher market caps than current price, and we are still making higher lows on our daily time frame in here. So this easily could just be a mid-parabola shakeout, similar to what we had back in 2021 with a lot of these meme coins. Go look at Doge, Shiba, these memes that went to tens of billions of dollars in market cap. You see during their parabola, they have these small shakeouts in the middle with bearish divergences. It does not mean that the top has to be in, and I'm certainly not panic selling right now. We're also seeing this play out with MOG coin right now, and this one looks even better because if we do pull back here, I mean, we got a ton of room left before we even get to these previous daily lows, and this could just give us that very bullish back test of previous all-time highs. So certainly nothing to panic about immediately, but certainly something to take note of if the market is truly topped. Seeing memes rally against all other assets and then starting to top out could signal that this rocket ship is going to blow up on the launch pad, and the top is already in. But hey, Bitcoin is still holding this low. We have clear invalidations to the downside that will give us warning signs to sell. I have not sold a penny yet, but I did want to give you guys this information so that I'm not seeming very one-sided on my channel. I want to give you guys the bear case and the bull case so you can think critically about the markets. And if you do have any questions about anything I talked about in this video, make sure to join my Discord. Link is in the description down below. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.